one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
When did winning not become the main thing? I always say keep the main thing, where, winning is the only thing that truly matters.
Welcome back to another episode of The Recap. On Saints, where I'm a little distracted at the moment. Hold up. What a Sunday. Week 2 in the NFL. We got a lot to talk about. We're also going to recap Thursday night's football game between the Packers and the Commanders. As a matter of fact, that's where we're going to start. But first, I hope you had a dope day, dope afternoon, dope night, whichever point in time you're listening to this. I do appreciate you for the support. I truly do. Even if you watched for 2 seconds, I appreciate that. If your team did not win on Sunday or whenever the fuck they played this week, imagine that. Couldn't be me. If your team does not have at least one win on the season at this point, couldn't be my team. Imagine starting 0-2. But I'm not here to shit talk any of the other teams that don't have wins yet. All right? I'm not here to do that. Not here to do that. I'm just here to preach the gospel of football, Like Peyton said, God bless football. God bless football. We're here to talk about football. A lot of football to be talked about tonight. But I want to start off with my favorite thing I saw this week. And my favorite thing I saw this week was actually last week, but it was week 2 of the NFL. Keyshawn Nixon. What a game. Now, I'm not going to say this was the greatest game I've seen a cornerback have, but as far as a cornerback having one of the better games and not having a single turnover, as far as like he didn't get an interception, he didn't get a fumble recovery or force a fumble, but he had just as great a game without any of those. Keyshawn Nixon. What a game. A lot to talk about after that Commanders loss, but on both sides of the ball, to be honest with you, not just for the Commanders, but for the Packers also, because as great as the Packers defense looked throughout the night, I think the offense could have looked way better than it looked throughout the night. But we'll get to the Packers. I want to start off talking about Keyshawn Nixon, because Keyshawn Nixon had probably no question, one of the better games I've seen from a cornerback in the last couple of years. But like I said to start it off, when you consider we believe that a great game for a cornerback is having interceptions or things like that, turnovers, Keyshawn Nixon didn't have a turnover, unless I'm forgetting something. But I don't believe he had a turnover. But he played as great a game for a cornerback as I've seen in a long time. He was glued to his man every time. He probably had about 5-6 passes defended. They're probably not going to give him the true amount of passes defended that he had. I really don't even understand that pass defended stat anymore because I don't think it's fluid. But Keyshawn Nixon played as good a game as I have seen a cornerback play in a long time. He was glued to his man. Every time the ball came his way, he made a play, breaking the pass up. Nobody caught anything easy on him. If he got anything caught on him, I can't even remember somebody catching anything on Keyshawn Nixon. He had such a great game. He basically eliminated one side of the field. Now, as great as Keyshawn Nixon was, I do want to now talk about, shout out Keyshawn Nixon. I want to talk about Washington, because Washington's offense was terrible. And I don't think it was because of Jaden Daniels. As a matter of fact, I think if not for Jaden Daniels, the offense probably looked even worse than it already did. So, for one, nobody could get open. Not a soul on the offense for the Commanders could get open, especially not getting open consistently. They might have got open once the defense was a little lax for the Packers, because the Packers felt like they had already had the game in hand. But when this game was a competitive game for the most part, the Packers just... nobody got open against the Packers. Nobody on Washington could seem to get space, could seem to create any space. And that brings me to 2 people, McLaurin and Debo. I hope I'm wrong about what I'm thinking about McLaurin, or I hope I'm wrong in what I've seen from McLaurin the first 2 weeks. He done had plays in the first 2 games, but he has not looked like a number 1 receiver in these first 2 games, in my opinion. And now I'm starting to see why the Commanders were hesitant to give him a contract extension, or at least what he originally was looking for, because maybe they could see it because they around him more, but it do look like a clear drop off in his game from last year to this year in just 2 games already. Now I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong, because Terry McLaurin is a great receiver. However, when you have been the main focus of a team for so long, when you have been the number 1 receiver on the team for as long as he done been the number 1 receiver on that team, you done taken a lot of punishment for really nothing. It's tough when now you have a quarterback and you really only had 1 prime year with him, and now your prime is fading. I still think you can get a lot out of McLaurin, but he might be entering his years of being a number 2 receiver, which is a problem, because you actually need to get at least 2-3 more years of number 1 receiver out of him, because Deebo Samuels is not a number 1 receiver. I struggle calling him a number 2 receiver at times, because I don't think he is like, listen, if you are a big Deebo fan, that's cool. If you are a fan of his game, that's cool. I just don't think, I think Deebo is a lesser version of Tyreek Hill. And what I mean by that is, and I mean no disrespect, but what I mean is Tyreek Hill is not just go run a route. Like, Tyreek can do a lot. You can use him in the backfield. Tyreek is a very versatile player. He is a true weapon. However, Tyreek Hill is still a true receiver. That's my thing. As much as you can do all these gadget plays and do all this weird shit with Tyreek, they find ways to get him open, Tyreek can still just go out there and win his matchup one-on-one. Tyreek can go out there and beat the coverage, can beat the press. He can go out there and run right past somebody. He can go run a route. He can go in high point in football. Like, Tyreek is still a great receiver. He still does the things that you want a number 1 receiver to do. Tyreek does them at a high level, at a very high level, has throughout his career. To me, that's not Deebo. While Deebo is also a weapon, and you can use him on a lot of different gadget plays and things of that nature, I don't think his routes are as great as a top receiver. I don't think he has great hands like a top receiver. I don't think he is going up high pointing footballs and stuff natural all the time like a top receiver. I do not believe he is the guy that you can rely on to make the big play against top tier cornerbacks like the top receivers. So while I think Deebo is a weapon, and not the weapon that he was in San Francisco, because he is also older and he has also taken a lot of punishment throughout the years now, I don't believe that this offense is what we thought it was going into the season. Now, personally, going into the season, I did not care for the Deebo move that much. Like, I thought they should focus more on getting... One second. I wasn't big on the Deebo move. I thought the more important move was to try to get Terry McLaurin re-signed, because I didn't think at the time that Deebo fit their scheme or fit this offense, because I don't think Washington was going to use him the way that they used Deebo in San Francisco. To be honest with you, I thought Washington needed to get McCaffrey. I thought he should get more reps so you could see what you have with him, because I kind of like him more than Deebo for this team. But because of Jaden Daniels, in my mind, I'm like, they're going to find a way to consistently use Deebo. But that's not really on Jaden Daniels at the end of the day. If you are running an offense, and it's an offense that Jaden Daniels is comfortable with, and he keep having to try to go outside of the offense to get Deebo involved, that's going to fuck your offense. So they got to find a way for the offense to be fluid with Deebo. I just don't know how you do that, because I don't think Deebo fits this scheme. And I don't trust Cliff, to be honest with you, because I don't think Cliff figured it out when he was with Kyler Murray. So I don't know how he figured it out now. And I'm not telling you. Another second. Cliff couldn't figure it out with Kyler Murray in Arizona. So it's hard for me to believe that Cliff will figure it out in Washington, and he ain't even the head coach. Now, I understand Cliff looked good last year, but if you go back and look at that offense, it's a lot of meat that was left on the table. When you look at the offense this year, it's a lot of meat being left on the table. I don't think the offense done look good in the first 2 weeks at all. Not to mention, you had Debo for the majority of the offseason. And both Debo and Ertz and McLaurin are all healthy right now. So it's really no excuse for the offense to look as bad as the offenses look. Jaden is healthy. It's really no reason for the offense to look the way the offense has looked. And the only thing that I think you do if you are Washington to get better, I mean, here's the problem that you had in this game. Nobody could get open on their own skill and merit. And the play calling didn't get anybody open. It wasn't until the game was basically over when dudes started getting open, which has contributed to the defense not playing as hard as they played throughout the game. To me, that's a problem. Too many big name players, too many weapons on the team to not be able to consistently move the ball up and down the field, especially with Jaden Daniels as your quarterback. Excuse me. But it felt like for the majority of this game, if not for all of this game, Jaden Daniels is trying to fit throws in, trying to make contested throws, trying to throw up 50-50 balls to see if his receiver can go get it. He didn't really have clean throws. I mean, when he was dinking and dunking at times, yeah, but like dropping back in the pocket and somebody just getting open down the field, very rare that happened for Jaden Daniels. And once again, I do not blame, because I know some people can get into this little habit where they're like, is Jaden Daniels regressing? And once again, I just hate how the NFL is covered or how sports are covered at times, because Jaden Daniels is not the only person on this offense that's paid to make plays or paid to do a job. Receivers got to get open. It's just plain and simple. I'm sorry, bro. It's something that is really bothering me right now. Give me a second. How did they see it? Okay, I'm back. You couldn't even imagine. It's something that's really bothering me because of how it feels. It's not even that it hurt or nothing like that. It just feel weird, and so it's bothering the hell out of me right now. Okay. Talking about, where was I at? Because I done got way off kilter trying to do something. Because the feeling of this shit is ridiculous, y'all. It don't hurt. Once again, what I'm dealing with don't hurt. It just feels very weird. But anyways, Washington gonna have to figure something out because the offense just don't look good right now. And then when you look and consider the offense don't look good, you flip to the other side of the ball, the defense looked terrible. It feel like all night somebody was running 15 yards wide open down the field for the Packers. I don't know what was going on with the Washington defense. One thing I'll say is this. Bobby Wagner should not be a middle linebacker right now. And I love Bobby Wagner. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Never will forget those prime years of Bobby Wagner. But Bobby Wagner is not fast enough anymore to keep up with the minutia that comes through the middle. He can still tackle, but even then, you don't really... Bobby Wagner, you want him to really, like, if somebody catch the ball, it's like got to be an immediate tackle. You don't really want him chasing people down. You don't want him... You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to say that Bobby is no longer a starter, but Bobby is older now. So you can't have him be... You don't want him... You can't rely on him to be what he once was for a defense, basically. And I know you got Frankie Louvu and you got some other guys on the defense, but the defense just don't look good right now. Now, I don't think Washington's defense looked good last year either. But this year so far, it is... This game against the Packers was rough because, I mean, dudes is just running wide open. It's really no pressure on Jordan Love. Like, Washington's going to have to figure something out. They didn't have a pass rush. They couldn't stop any. The secondary was getting toasted. Like, Washington is in an ugly place right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. It might look a little different when they start playing lesser than teams, even though it didn't really look that much different when they played the Giants, even though they won that game. But what I'm going to tell you is this, looking at this team, you can't rely on this defense, in my opinion. It's going to be tough to try to rely on a defense like this. However, things could still go well for you if the offense figure it out. But if the offense cannot figure it out, it's going to be a long fucking season for the Commanders. Because while I do believe... The Commanders will basically be battling for a wild card spot if they don't figure something out. Specifically offensively, because offense is probably going to have to be your best defense at this point, meaning you're just going to have to score a lot of fucking points and hope the other team cannot score as much as you. Because I don't know how much you're going to be able to rely on this defense in Washington, to be completely honest with you, because the defense just didn't look good to me on Thursday night. And they didn't look great to me I thought it was more of Russ struggling in that Giants offense than it really was Washington's defense looking great in that game. So I'm concerned about Washington. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, to flip this on the other side, let's talk about Green Bay. I have nothing to say about Green Bay's defense. Well, yes, I do. I love Green Bay's defense. I like that Quez Walker and some of the other line. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of the linebackers for Green Bay outside of Micah Parsons, because I think Micah Parsons is a generational talent. One of my problems with the Green Bay Packers linebackers last year, I just thought that they were too hesitant to make plays. I thought they made a lot of mistakes. They just let a lot of dudes run open. They missed a lot. Like, I just thought it was so many problems with the linebacking core for the Green Bay. Not to mention, I don't really go crazy on Green Bay because I think Green Bay's defense done been good enough the last couple years. But I do understand Green Bay is basically turning over the defense over the last couple years. Like, a lot of the great players that they had 3-4 years ago, not all there anymore. Some of them might still be, like one or two, like Rashawn Gary still there. But a lot of the great, like a lot of players done left, went to other teams, you know, things like that. So really it's a new defense. Like, the secondary is basically completely different for the Packers now. Right? They basically starting a whole new era in their secondary. So I like Green Bay's defense, but I still, as much, and I understand there's going to be some Green Bay fans out there that's like, no, bro, we love our young linebackers out there. I just think they can still improve in that area. Like, I don't think this is a flawless defense. People keep saying they think that this is going to be the best defense in the league, or right now it's the best defense in the league. It's been 2 weeks, buddy. Plus, it's just hard for me to believe that this defense will be the best in the league with this linebacking core, because I still believe that this linebacking core can be attacked. Not to mention, the secondary can probably be attacked too. We just haven't seen an offense good enough yet to test that secondary. You thought it would be Washington, but clearly Washington's offense was not good enough. I think Jaden Daniels had like 40-something passing yards after the first half, bro. Like, just nobody could get open. And I know people say, well, that's a product of Green Bay's defense. I get that. But when you look at the game, it's not just Green Bay's defense shut them out. Washington's players just were not creating any type of separation or anything like that. So I'm interested to see how Green Bay... And listen, Green Bay played a great... Green Bay has played 2 playoff teams to start the season. I am taking nothing away from Green Bay. If you listen to the show, you know it's 2 teams in the NFC that I really pull for. The Rams and Green Bay. Fuck with them both. I'm just saying, I still think the linebacking core can get better. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I think the Packers left a lot of points on the board. On the field. And the biggest reason I think they left points on the field still. For one, they're not really consistent with the run game at times. Like, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I'm shocked they run it as much as they do. And then sometimes I'm shocked they run it as little as they do. Like, it feel like they haven't really created a perfect balance yet with the running game. And I get why that hasn't happened, because you want Jordan Love to be able to throw the ball and command this offense, because you don't have a quarterback like Jordan Love just to be handing the ball off. But sometimes Jordan Love can get into these stinkers where he doing weird, wild shit. So you like, okay, let's hand the ball to Josh Jacobs. I don't have a problem with the running game, though. That'll figure itself out. My problem with the Packers is still the receivers. I still don't think they have a number 1 receiver, even in Golden. I think they have a bunch of 2s and 3s. More 2s than 3s, but none of them to me are number 1s. None of them are number 1s. And I saw that throughout the game. Yes, these dudes can run good routes. They can catch the ball, but to me, no receiver on the Green Bay Packers can I look at and say, that's the total package. That's the number 1 receiver. I just don't see it in none of them yet. Well, yet is wild, because aside from Golden, I don't think any of those other receivers are number 1s anyways. We've seen them. Golden is the only one who could possibly become one, because we haven't really seen him but for 2 games. But from what I've seen from his 2 games already, I don't think he a number 1 receiver right now either. To me, the dude for Tate for the Panthers has been better than Golden. And Tate has a worse quarterback. So I like Green Bay. I really do. I picked Green Bay to win the NFC last year, and I was wrong about that. I'm probably going to pick them to win the NFC again this year. Just because I think Jordan... No, I didn't pick them. I picked the Eagles. I'm tripping. I picked them to win their division last year, and they didn't win their division. I'm picking them to win their division again this year. I just stick with the best quarterback in the division. To me, the best quarterback in the conference, period, is Jordan Love. But the best quarterback in the division, or the highest ceiling, is definitely Jordan Love. I'm not going to put him over Jalen Hurts yet, because Jalen Hurts got hardware. But I think that the Packers still got a lot to work on. And another thing, I love Matt LaFleur. If you watch the show, you know I rock with Matt LaFleur. Weird play calling game from him Thursday. Wasn't the biggest fan of everything he was calling on Thursday night. Not going to lie to you. But that was Thursday Night Football. Now we move on to Sunday. I want to start off with the goofiest shit that I saw today. And that would go to the left tackle for the New York Giants. James Hudson. My guy. So if you didn't watch the Giants-Cowboys game, which was probably the best game on TV this week, or so far week 2, the best game was that game, Cowboys-Giants. James Hudson committed 4 penalties on one drive. I don't know that I can remember a player committing 4 fucking penalties on one drive. I don't know if I can remember too many players that had 4 penalties in a game by themselves. James Hudson had 4 on a drive, 2 of which were unnecessary roughness calls, basically. Because of his extracurricular activity after one play. And just a ridiculous move on one play where I thought he was going to get ejected, because it just looked like he just straight up slapped the dude in the head. Like, it was crazy. But then you get a false start twice. So when Brian Daboll rightfully took him out the game, Buddy basically threw a tantrum on the sideline and was doing a bunch of shit that you just do not. I'm be honest. I saw people saying, man, come on, bro, you got to chill. Man, I saw people saying he got to chill because they might put you back in the game. Nigga, because they might not put you back in the game. Nigga, they might cut your ass after the game. Fuck getting put back in the game. If you think that he need to chill because he might not get put back in the game, I literally saw somebody say, come on, bro, you got to chill, bro. They ain't got nobody out there but you going to get back in the game. Nigga, you might not get on the plane. Bro, like, what are we talking about right now? This nigga, you do not act like that after. I understand. If somebody say, bro, Brian Daboll, you can't bench a dude for making one mistake, even though I really don't agree with it. I understand why people would say that, because you set a bad precedent on benching somebody every time they make a bad play, because bad plays happen. 4 flags on one drive. Yeah, my guy, come sit beside me. Come sit beside me, because clearly you need a breather. Clearly your head not in it right now. Clearly you're not ready for these reps. Clearly you didn't wake up ready for this game. So I'm going to bring you over here on this bench beside me for a while, for a couple plays, a couple drives to see if you can get back to normal. Then we'll throw you out there. You coming out and then throwing this little tantrum as if you did not just have 4 dickhead ass plays is insane to me. What are we doing? James, buddy, you fucking up your check. Your moms or dad, whoever your parent or whoever raised you, did not raise you to act like this. Especially when you just picked up 4 penalties. Not in the game, on one drive, my guy. This was not an end of game thing. This was a one drive where you just fuck up. What am I supposed to do as a head coach and this other dude's on the floor, on the field trying to win? But I see one dude is clearly preventing us from being successful, but I keep him on the field. This is not an issue of one guy made one mistake. This ain't even an issue of one guy made a crucial mistake. This is one guy making 4 consecutive mistakes on one drive. It's no choice but to bench him. If I'm a coach, I'm benching him. Most people out there is benching him. It's no way you watch one man make 4 mistakes on a drive and you keep him on the field, especially the mistakes that he was making. Not to mention the 2 unnecessary roughness plays. I probably would have benched his ass for both of those anyways, because I'm one of them people who gets very annoyed. Okay, so if you don't watch me before, one of the things I say, and I usually wait till the playoffs to start saying it, because that's when it mattered the most, but I always say, it's the little things. When you are a bad team, you cannot afford to make little mistakes. To a great team, you can afford to make mistakes a lot of times. Hell, for a great team, you don't even have to worry about getting the small things right every week. Because you're so great, you're going... Let me find a smarter way to say it. Because you've shown consistently that you are so great that you find ways to win these games somehow, that maybe this don't apply to you as much. But when you are a Giants team, a Cowboys team, a Raiders team, you cannot afford to make little mistakes. You cannot afford little mental, because you might not think this is as big a mistake. Oh, it's not a 50-yard pass interference, or it's not a roughing in the passer call that took us off. But little mistakes still add up when you are a bad team. And when you're a bad team, your little mistakes is a little mistake for a great team is not the same as a little mistake for a bad team. As a matter of fact, they could be the exact same mistake. But if you're a great team, it don't weigh on you like it does if you are a bad team. The Giants have been a bad team. You cannot afford to have players on your team making these type of mental mistakes, these type of mistakes on the field. So I'm fully on board with Brian Daboll taking them out, because if you have a team that's been as bad as the Giants have been, and you're trying to tell these players like, bro, the only way we can become a successful team, the only way we can win games is when we get the little things right. Then we start to get the big things right. But we cannot become great if we don't get these little things right. And one of the little things that we have to get right, we cannot beat ourselves. We cannot have mental mistakes like this. We cannot have repeat mistakes like this. What we definitely can't have is 4 flags by one player on a drive. It can't happen. We don't become a better team, and I can't become a better coach if I let that continue to happen. And how will players believe that I'm trying to get us to win if I keep you on the field? You got to figure this thing out, Mr. Hudson. And I feel like taking off. Let me be your supernova. When I said Mr. Hudson, I started thinking, what's that other song by Mr. Hudson? Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are they gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in the sandpit, life is a short when the music's for the sun, man. Forever, yo. I wanna be forever, yo. Yo, Mr. Hudson was on his shit back in the day, bro. He had like that 1 or 2 years span where he was just killing it. He had a song with Kanye. Well, he had a couple songs with Kanye. But anyways, Mr. Hudson, James Hudson, you're going to have to figure it out, bro, if you still on the team Monday. Now let's go through some of these scores. Or let's go through all of the scores. Actually, before I go through the scores, I want to, cause I got to talk about this. Cause I actually might end up forgetting this. So I actually want to talk about it. I wasn't going to forget James. I want to talk about this. Not Minnesota Vikings. Jacksonville Jaguars. Cause I definitely would have forgot this. For one, I do not like that pass interference that they called on Travis Hunter. I don't know where. I done watched that play about 10 times. And maybe I'm biased because I like Travis. Or I want Travis to be great. And I get annoyed with people on Twitter consistently talking about how this man looks. Because I just think some of the ugliest people in the world have the confidence to jump on Twitter and call other niggas ugly. And it really bothers me. Or the ugliest niggas in the world who got profile pictures of cartoons and anime and shit jumping online to call niggas ugly. But then, I understand females are going to do what females do. I don't even bother myself with that. But high school and middle school boys jumping on Twitter to talk about how Travis Hunter look. You niggas get gayer and gayer by the day, I swear. Nonetheless, I don't know where the pass interference was on that play. To me, Travis had a hell of a rep on that play. A hell of a rep. As a matter of fact, after watching that rep before the flag came out, I said, this motherfucker might actually be able to do both. I was like, he might actually be able to do both. I loved how he played on, and obviously Travis is still a rookie, so I think some people forget when you're a big name rookie, you still a rookie. So being a big name rookie does not mean you won't make mistakes. Travis will make mistakes. He'll have games where he don't look the greatest. But right now, I'm not going to lie to you. I really think Travis can do it. I think if managed properly, he could play both sides of the ball. Now, I don't think his development will really be there on the offensive side of the ball because I don't have any faith. I don't have faith in Leonard Cohen right now. I don't have faith in a head coach. Leonard Cohen is not his name. I think that's a singer. I see Jane there with the rose in her teeth. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. But they head coach Cohen. I don't know what to feel about him yet. He's a first year coach, only done coached 2 games. I do, however, know how to feel about the quarterback. And you can fire as many head coaches you want to keep bringing some in and try to figure out Trevor Lawrence because you drafted him with the number 1 pick in the draft. But I just want the Jaguars to know you will be drafting another quarterback at some point in time. Either you can accept it now or you can accept it later. It really don't matter. But Trevor Lawrence is not a franchise quarterback. And I've always felt that, but I truly felt that after today, after watching the Jaguars be winning the game before Joe Burrow got hurt. Joe Burrow got hurt. So when Joe Burrow got hurt, the Jags was winning this game. Now, any normal fan would say to themselves, Burrow got hurt. The Jags are already winning. They definitely gonna win this game. But then Trevor Lawrence proceeds to throw 2 interceptions. The offense proceeds. It looks ugly. Trevor Lawrence not as accurate as you would like for him to be on certain throws. A stupid ass decision to go for it on 4th and 5th. Jake Browning threw 3 interceptions. Not Joe Burrow, the starter. The backup. Browning threw 3 interceptions. Before I said all that other shit that I just said, if I had just started this conversation with the Jaguars was leading, Joe Burrow got hurt, they were up when he got hurt, Jake Browning came in, threw 3 interceptions, you would say, If I asked you who won that game, you would say, oh, no question Trevor Lawrence found a way to win it. Not found a way. It's no question Trevor Lawrence and the Jags dominated the game. But they didn't. A backup came in losing through 3 interceptions and still won the game. You're not going to convince me that Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback, because franchise quarterbacks don't lose that game. I'm looking at how hard it is to consistently beat Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, Jayden Daniels. Like, it's tough to beat these guys. You almost feel like you got to grind it out every time. Not Trevor Lawrence. Winning the game when Joe Burrow gets hurt. The backup comes in and proceeds to give you the ball 3 times off of interceptions. And you still found a way to lose that game. I don't know at what point we're going to stop giving Trevor Lawrence all these excuses. He is not the player that people say he was going to be coming into this draft, coming into the league. I would argue he has been nowhere even near. I want you to think back to how great Deshaun Watson was before he got to Cleveland. At no point in time in Trevor Lawrence's career has he looked anywhere near as good as Deshaun Watson when Deshaun was playing at his best. As a matter of fact, I think we can probably call it Deshaun's prime at this moment, because Deshaun will probably never, I'm almost certain Deshaun will never look that great ever again. So, I will now consider that Deshaun Watson's prime years, because his career is basically over in my opinion. Trevor Lawrence has never looked as good as Deshaun Watson in his prime. And I want people to remember, Deshaun Watson's prime was like his first 4 years in the league. One of which didn't play because he got hurt. Well, he played, but he ended up getting a season-ending injury in practice. So Deshaun Watson's first, 3.5 seasons, Trevor Lawrence has looked nowhere near as good. Nowhere near as good as Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was drafted after Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky, who didn't look as good as Deshaun or Trevor Lawrence in college. That's who Deshaun Watson was drafted after. Trevor Lawrence was the first pick in the draft. And once again, has looked nowhere near as good as Deshaun Watson's prime. Which is why I get annoyed when people continue to tell me, oh, Saint, race doesn't matter. Really? Because Deshaun Watson, the black quarterback, fell in the draft. Went to 2 natties, won 1, beat Nick Saban's defense, battled him tough both times, even in the loss. They didn't think he was the best quarterback coming into the class that year. Trevor Lawrence was. Didn't do as much as Deshaun Watson in college. And ain't been nowhere near what Deshaun Watson was in the NFL. Interesting. So, in my opinion, I'm seeing people on Twitter go crazy about Brian Robinson or Brian Thomas, whatever his name is. I'm seeing all of the things from Jacksonville, Jack Duval. I'm seeing all the shit from that. Mind you, I just want y'all to know that shit is like, maybe I'm just hearing too many people say it. Maybe I'm just hearing too many squares say Duval that it don't sound good to me. Because it just sounds stupid to me at this point, because I'm just hearing a lot of people with no passion who goofy say Duval. Like, I'm not hearing nobody really hit that shit like, Creed, nigga! You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not seeing nobody really hit that shit. So, I don't know. I'm not really feeling the Duval. But they can hit that Creed and I'll be cool with it. Creed, nigga! But, anyways, to continue on. I just think the Jaguars got a quarterback problem. They probably got a defensive problem too, but that don't matter. They got a quarterback problem. And I don't know how long they're going to put Band-Aids on this shit. Like, and they don't even have a first pick. So Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback for the next 2 years, because They traded away their first pick in the draft next year, which was a very interesting trade. But, hey, they traded it away. If you're Jacksonville, your mission is to make sure Travis Hunter become all-world, because he is basically your first-round pick for this year and for next year. You got your receiver this year, your cornerback next year. You got your cornerback this year, receiving it. I don't care how you label it, how you decide to play it. You got to pray that Travis Hunter become a stud, which I think he will on one of them sides of the ball. But Trevor Lawrence just ain't it. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know how much longer people going to need to figure that out. I don't know how many more games they need to see from him. One of my biggest problems with Trevor Lawrence is this stupid interception problem where he just can't seem to put the ball over a fucking defender's head. The interception he threw in the red zone was a preventable interception. What are we doing? Why would you put that ball on the line to the defender like that? Why wouldn't you put that over his head in the back of the end zone to give your dude a chip? Which I don't even know if I believe Trevor Lawrence could have made the throw that was necessary to get that, to give his receiver a chance for that. But what I do know is the Trevor Lawrence, the pass that he did throw was never getting to the receiver. So I'm just very, and then the craziest thing to me is the reason I'm not too high on the head coach. Why would you go for that? Trevor Lawrence and this offense haven't looked world beaten all day. They haven't looked in a way that makes you think, yeah, they definitely gonna pick this up. They haven't. They haven't. And you still decided to go for it. And I understand you say, well, it's Jake Browning on the field. We down. He done thrown 3 interceptions. Yeah. But somehow they still in this game with his 3 interceptions. Which, I don't know why we making so much a big deal about his 3 interceptions when my supposed franchise quarterback has 2 of them hoes. So if you're Jacksonville, you have a problem. And I had to start with Jacksonville because I would have forgotten Jacksonville if I didn't talk about it. But like I said, aside from Trevor Lawrence problems, because I really think Trevor Lawrence is a problem, that was not a pass interference that basically hold the game for them. I don't know what they saw to turn that into a pass interference. Man, I done seen pass interferences that don't get called. I done seen plays where both receiver and the cornerback is doing way more than what I saw on that play. Nothing get called. But that's a pass interference. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I wasn't feeling that one at all. Also, to run back to that Giants game, matter of fact, I'll get to that when I get to that. Because that's not really a big thing. That was just, why, Russ? Washington was in Green Bay on Thursday night. Obviously, we started off talking about that one. That was an 18-27 victory for the Green Bay Packers. Chicago, Detroit. Let's pause for a second. Chicago lost 21-52. They took the ass beating of the day. I want to talk about this one, actually. I forgot about this game, to be honest with you. Because when I kept looking at it laughing. If I'm Ben Johnson, I am so fucking heated. Bro, we could have got our ass beat against any fucking team on this schedule. But for you niggas to come into fucking Detroit and lay an egg like this, my former employee, you know how much I wanted to win this fucking game. And you niggas go out there and lose by 30 fucking points. Actually, 31 fucking points. You lose by 31 fucking points against my former boss. You embarrassing me out here in front of the old hoes that used to know me. Like, what are we doing? I'm not going to lie. If I'm Ben Johnson, it's going to be hard for me not to torture these niggas in practice tomorrow or whenever practice happens. Because this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. For most teams, when they old coach or old players play their former team, even if they suck, that's the one game they competitive and win the whole season. The Bears couldn't even do that for Ben Johnson. Now, I want to point something out. Because I said last year that I didn't think that the head coach, I can't even remember his name at the moment, but I said last year I didn't think the head coach was the problem with this team. As a matter of fact, I said I think the coach doing more good for the team than people realize, but people think that the offense has been his problem, which I don't think the offensive struggles have been his problem. I think fans have gotten into a situation where a player, if it's not very obvious that it's the player by making like dickhead decisions and mistakes, that's very obvious, then the fans seem to want to blame coaches and everybody else. They try to find a scapegoat. I mean, we deal with it in Baltimore every year, how fans, some reason, think John Harbaugh is a problem. I can't understand it for the life of me. But I didn't think that the head coach was the problem. Now, I wasn't the biggest Matt Nagy fan, but the next head coach, mind you, while I wasn't a fan of Matt Nagy, the next head coach was a defensive-minded coach, and I can't remember his name at the moment. But he was a defensive-minded head coach. You draft Caleb Williams. That's on the front office, bro. But I said last year, while I do believe you should have went out and got an offensive-minded head coach, I'm looking at some of the shit with the Bears, and offense really don't matter because to me it's player problems. And maybe an offensive-minded guy can fix these problems, but at the end of the day, it's going to have to be a player fixing these problems type of thing. So I like Ben Johnson. I don't know how great Ben Johnson will be as a coach, but he is clearly a great offensive mind, even though you haven't seen that with Chicago yet. But I don't necessarily blame Ben Johnson. Now, if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm heated that we just got our asses beat like that. Detroit might not put up 52 fucking points the rest of the season. Like, they might not score 52 points against another team all year. And we just let them come in here and we just let them do that shit to us. Unreal. I had to hug my former boss after the game knowing he just beat my ass like that. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm livid. I'm heated, bro. There's nothing you can say to make me happy. I'm all types of pissed off. But I got a homie who is a big Caleb Williams guy. And I'm not currently a Caleb Williams guy. I don't think Caleb Williams suck or nothing like that. But when I watch Caleb Williams play, it's just something that's not translating for me. And yes, I do think he is better than what Justin Fields was when Justin Fields was there. However, I still see problems from a quarterback who play like he think he in college still. And that is a problem because you are no longer in college. Not to mention, college football is not the NFL, bro. Two different sports. The way Caleb Williams hold on to the ball sometimes, I think Lamar Jackson is doing irreparable damage to the NFL. When Lamar do these scramble drills where he can scramble for a long time and eventually find the play because he's so shifty and he can make people miss, I'm thinking a lot of quarterbacks who can run think they can do that shit. And that's causing a lot of bad plays. I saw Caleb Williams take some of the worst sacks I've seen players take. Nobody take worse at Lamar Jackson that started taking some bad sacks too. But nobody take worse sacks than Russell Wilson throughout his career. I think Russell Wilson is just, I say it all the time, I do not understand how Russell Wilson takes some of the sacks that he takes. Caleb Williams, to me, if he continue to play the way he play, that's going to be one of his problems to his career. He just takes some dumbass sacks. Like Joe Burrow, people keep bitching about his offensive line. Joe Burrow is a statue at times. So that's why Joe Burrow gets sacked, because he can't do what Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar can do. Or Stroud, or Jaden Daniels. Like, he just not as elusive or not as quick, not as mobile as those dudes. So Joe Burrow, yeah, maybe you have a stronger emphasis on the line because his lack of mobility. But Joe Burrow wanted his receivers to get paid. I ain't hear Joe Burrow advocate for no fucking offensive lineman in the offseason. I heard him advocating for his receivers, and then he advocated for his defensive guy. I didn't hear him advocating for an offensive line. And also, the Bengals continue to try to fix that offensive line. It just is what it is. However, when I'm looking at this Joe Burrow, I'm tripping. No, Joe Burrow. Yeah, I'm not tripping. No, I am tripping. When I look at Chicago, I was talking about Joe Burrow, his mobility and the sacks he takes. But when I'm looking at Caleb Williams, bro, you got to get the ball out. You cannot take some of the sacks that you take. I think some of his decision making is terrible. And you want to know what's very interesting to me about Caleb Williams? Because I think he missed a lot of dudes at times. Like, I think he tried to make too many plays at times. I think sometimes he held on to the ball too long. I'm going to be honest. I do not enjoy watching Caleb Williams play right now. Because to me, at this moment, he only got 2 or maybe 1 or 2 good drives in him. And then the rest of the game, the offense just looks like... And I just don't understand it because Jaden Williams didn't look like this. Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, like year 2, they already had figured it out. He looked like he done figured out one drive a game. Maybe 2. That's a problem for me. So I don't know what to expect out of Chicago this year. I didn't expect much out of them anyways, but I was hopefully optimistic that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams' marriage would get Chicago going. It has not. They are 0-2. And they do not look good to me in week 1 or week 2. So they're going to have to figure that out. Now, I don't think you give up on Caleb Williams or anything like that. I do think Caleb Williams need to learn how to play with more. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. This is going to sound crazy. What I'm about to say is going to sound crazy. But I wish you could watch it through my eyes and understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Or I wish I could explain it better. I really don't have the time to break down Caleb Williams and the Bears right now because I got to go through other teams. But I'm going to just put it like this. The more and more I watch Caleb Williams play, the more and more I see a college player who still haven't gotten to the NFL mode yet. And I think it's an NFL player in Caleb Williams. And I'm not saying that, this dude can't be. He is better than Justin Fields to me at this point. Than where Justin Fields was at this point. But that ain't saying much to me. When you consider all them other great quarterbacks I just named and what they were in year 2. But to me, right, and he got weapons. And that's another thing for me. When you just start pointing to excuse after excuse after excuse before a player actually, like, I'm okay with niggas making excuses for Pat Mahomes. I'm okay with niggas making excuses for Lamar or Allen because I done seen them niggas be great already. I haven't seen. If you want to make excuses, I don't really like the excuses for Joe Burrow, but if you want to make excuses for Joe Burrow, cool. At least he done got to a Super Bowl. I don't really like it when people keep making all these excuses for Caleb Williams because we don't know what Caleb Williams truly is yet. You keep banking on him being something that you thought he was going to be coming out of college. I'm going off of what I'm actually seeing on the field right now. And the product that I done seen from Caleb Williams in year 1 and now in 2 games in the year 2, I don't see an elite quarterback right now. I hear people keep telling me what he can be and what he's supposed to be and what he'll be and yada, yada, yada. But I also heard what people say Lamar wasn't going to be, can't do, won't do. And I'm looking at what he is right now. So I'm going to keep watching Caleb Williams, obviously. But I really don't like watching Caleb Williams right now. And I don't know if it's because of just how he play or how the Bears look. I really don't know. But I'm just not a fan of watching Caleb Williams play right now. Especially after watching him all last year and continuously hearing people say, and I don't know if this makes sense, but sometimes it's throws out there that I feel like Caleb Williams should make that he don't even attempt because he don't want to throw a turnover. You can't play quarterback that way. That's one of the things that's hurt Aaron Rodgers in the back end of his career. You cannot try to play a perfect game or try not to make throws because you don't want to make a turnover. You got to go for shit. So we will continue to follow the Chicago Bears, but just not addicted to what I've seen so far. The New York Giants lose 37-40 in overtime against Dallas. Brandon Aubrey. What a fucking game. Last week you had the Steelers kicker, Boswell. This week you got Aubrey. The Vikings kicker was great. The Eagles kicker hit some big hit. Like, bro, for one, Brandon Aubrey hit like 360 yarders or 260 yards. He hit one to end the fourth quarter to take him into overtime and one to win overtime. Like, Brandon Aubrey had a hell of a game. I forgot to talk about Chris Boswell last week. Just balls of fucking steel, bro. Balls of fucking steel. Shout out to both of those men. Dallas ended up winning a wild game. Shout out to Dak Prescott. Really not one of them games where I should be crediting him for beating a Russell Wilson and a Giants team because I don't believe he would have done this against a great team. But nonetheless, great job by Dak Prescott staying poised and winning this game down the stretch. Russell Wilson made an absolutely terrible pass after playing a hell of a game. Like, this was a great game by Russell Wilson. I looked at this game and I said, boy, Jackson Dart is not going to start this year if Russell Wilson play like this all year. It's just not going to happen. If for every 3 games Russell Wilson give you 2 of these or 1 of these and a game close to it, Jackson ain't starting. But then Russell ended the game ugly. Now, I can't remember if he got hit or not. I'm going to have to go back and watch that play, but it was a bad interception. I'm going to tell you that. It was a terrible interception. But I don't remember if he had got hit on his arm while he was making that throw. But it was a terrible interception, especially when you consider it looked like Malik was running up the sideline, and if you had to put it up there, he would have had another touchdown. But I'm not taking nothing away from Russell Wilson. He played after. I talked about him how I did last week. I'm glad Russ bounced back because I like Russ. I'm a Russ guy. But last week was a rough one. This week looked way better. It just ended absolutely horrid for him. But it's the Giants, so, what do you expect? The Giants have a great pass rush, though. The Giants have a very great pass rush. I don't know why the Baltimore Ravens haven't called the Giants and tried to make a trade for one of them pass rushers, because they desperately need one of them. Especially with Kyle Van Noy going down. And Kyle Van Noy is not somebody who you should have been trying to rely on anyways at his age. But now you really need to go out and get a pass rusher. And the Giants got him in bunches at the moment. Malik Neighbors is a stud also. Shout out to him. San Francisco beat New Orleans 26-24. Shout out to my boy Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Shout out to him. They win 26-21. Desmond Ridder threw 4 touchdowns in this game. Was it 4? Regardless, Desmond Ridder did way better in this game than I could have imagined he was going to do. I just want to say the fact that the defense of the San Francisco 49ers let Desmond Ridder have the game that he just had. I know they're dealing with injuries, but boy, I did not see them letting Desmond Ridder do this to him. Shout out to my boy Mac Jones, though. Seattle put foot to ass to Pittsburgh and DK Metcalf playing against his former team. Seattle won 31-17. I believe this was in Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh got their asses stomped out in Pittsburgh. The Aaron Rodgers problem continues for me. As good as he looked last week, this is the thing I was saying. Aaron Rodgers is not consistent on a week-to-week basis anymore like he was in his prime, for one. 2, when you watch Aaron Rodgers play, it's just throws that he will not make or attempt anymore. And you just like, bruh. And then you'll see him make a throw where it's like, what the fuck kind of throw is this? Like, why did you throw this? You know what I'm saying? Like that interception that he threw, yes, he can blame it on the receiver. But that's still not, I don't know why you put that. Maybe the throw looked different if those two players ain't in the positions they in. But I kind of blame Rodgers for even putting that right there and not waiting for one of them to clear out. Or the bad route running. I don't know. But the Pittsburgh offense looked exactly how I expected them to look this week. Last week against the Jets, they looked way better than I thought they was going to look. But after last week against the Jets, I said there's no way they have 2 back-to-back weeks where Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdowns. I just refuse to believe it. And this is the performance they had. 2 interceptions, a touchdown. And Sam Darnold gift wrapped you 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold didn't look like Sam Darnold from last year for a good part of his game. And you still got your asses beat in. I don't trust the Steelers offense to be able to score consistently against teams that can score the ball. I don't think the Steelers have a go-to scoring option because I don't think DK is a number 1 receiver. They ain't using him like one, which is weird because he by far your best receiver on your team. Now, I told you they was going to have to get used to playing with 2 tight. Well, Aaron Rodgers would have to get used to playing with 2 tight ends, unlike he ever has before, because your 2 tight ends is your next best catchers. My problem with the Steelers is you still don't, bro. Last week against the Jets, I would say mistakes by the Jets helped the helped the Steelers a lot. Just like in this game, the Seahawks helped the Steelers get close to scoring range in this game like the Jets did last week. When you take away the mistakes from the Jets, you take away the mistakes from the Seahawks. The Steelers have a tough time scoring the ball and moving it down the field. That's just reality. As good as DK is, I don't know if DK going out there beating niggas one-on-one like he used to. I don't think DK ever was a dude who was winning his one-on-ones as much as people would like to think. DK is a good receiver, but I don't think he wasn't like Julio or no shit like that. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I don't think he done ever been not that level of receiver in his career. We think he a big body receiver because he is a big dude. And we think he play a different brand of football than what we actually see on the tape most of the time. Like, I don't think he done been a number one receiver for probably about 2-3 years. And it wasn't his fault in Seattle the last 2 years. The offense just made no sense. Well, now you go to another offense that really don't make too much sense. Because if I'm the Steelers, if I'm a fan of the Steelers, right? Which, thank God I'm not. But if I were, my question would be, what is our go-to going into every game? Like, what can we do that we know will move us down the field? What is our go-to plays that I know will pick up yards? What can we do that we know we can get into this end zone at least twice a game? Like, I don't know what is the go-to play calls. I don't know who is the go-to player. I don't know when I'm watching the Steelers what to trust offensively, because everything looked tough for them offensively this year, last year, the year before that. Like, I just don't know the identity of the Steelers offense for the past 3, 4, 5 years. And that is a problem. And you have Aaron Rodgers at this age that you have him in, and you think you're going to go out there every week and just figure shit out on the fly. That's just not the case. And this is why I be asking the question, what the fuck are we doing in training camp, in practice every week? Like, what are we doing? You should have a offensive game plan going into every week. And one of the things I always say about the Steelers is the Steelers overvalue their running backs. Their running backs are not as good as the Steelers would have you believe they are. That's just the reality. But the Steelers play them niggas and run them niggas like they are generational talents. But that is neither here nor there. Shout out to the Seahawks. Cleveland was in Baltimore. I'll get back to that game because obviously that was the game that I watched. I watched that game because that's my team, so we'll get back to that. But Cleveland did lose 17-41. New England was in Miami. They win 33-27. Jacksonville was in Cincinnati. We already talked about that game. They lose 27-31. The Rams were in Tennessee. They win 33-19. Tough day for the rookie. Actually, I want to hop back to this New England game real quick, though. And it's not even much of the New England game that I care about. New England played a decent game. They won the game. Tyreek had over 100 yards in this game, finally. I want to talk about Tua because I just don't think Tua is it. And I went back and watched tape from last week, the game Tua played last week, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back at some point in time this week and rewatch this Tua game. Tua needs to be benched. This nigga, the amount of throws that I watched him miss in that first game was astounding. You would think that Tua was a rookie the way he was missing throws in week 1. And it's not just missing throws, as in like he throw the ball and he missed the throw. It's throws he ain't even making. I'm talking about Tyreek is running wide open. He not making the throw. Dude's about to get out of a break and be open. He not making the throw. Dude's running wide open. He overthrowing him. He underthrowing him. He throwing it too far to the sideline so the dudes can't make the catch. Like, Tua is playing the quarterback position as let me figure out this sentence real quick. Tua is playing quarterback worse than probably any quarterback in the league right now. As far as what I'm seeing, I still got to go back and watch tape on a lot of other quarterbacks. But the Tua tape, it's all bad. I'm telling you right now. Go back and look at Tua in week 1. You will be amazed at how bad of a performance that was. Like, I already knew Tua had played a bad game in week 1. I mean, that was very obvious. You could just watch the game and see that. But I don't think people know how truly bad of a game he played. Like, when you go back and watch the passes he didn't make, that he should have made. Oh, my goodness. And this is the problem when you're relying on your first read being open and you rely so heavily on Mike McDaniel's system. I do not believe Tua Tagovailoa is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think Mike McDaniels is a great offensive play caller, even though I do not think he is a great head coach by any stretch of the imagination. The Dolphins had a lot of talent that first year or so. New offense, new coach, a big shocker to everybody. They have not been the same since. Tua Tagovailoa can't play outside of the system. He can barely play inside of the system. It's just throws he ain't making. Tua Tagovailoa really fucking it up for lefties for me too again, because I already am not the biggest fan of lefty quarterbacks. Tua is really hoeing lefties right now. Tua's arm strength just ain't there. The accuracy that people keep talking about only exists because if his first read open, he gonna hit it. Plus, you relying on dink and dunking and shit like that. I just do not believe Tua Tagovailoa is a good enough quarterback. I just don't. I don't think the Miami Dolphins are going anywhere anytime soon with Tua Tagovailoa. I don't. But to continue on, Buffalo wins 30-10 in New York against the Jets. I cannot talk about this Jets game because I did not watch this Jets game. I did see the stats after the game, and I heard Justin Fields got concussed. But I can't talk about this game because I actually have to go back and watch this game because I didn't have the time to watch this game. Carolina lost to Arizona. They was down big in this game. They ended up coming back in this game, and they still lose 22-27. But I'm not comfortable talking about this game either. I need to go back and rewatch this game also. Denver ended up losing this game 28-29. I need to go back and watch this game also, even though I did watch half of this game. I just was so disinterested at the time because I was doing something. So I'm going to have to go back and watch that game also. So it's 3 games already that I'm going to have to go back and watch it. I'll talk more about on the next show. Philadelphia, Kansas City. Philly won 20-17. I'll get back to that in a second. Atlanta ended up winning a Sunday night football game 22-6 against Minnesota. Minnesota could not score at all. I know people killed J.J. McCarthy after this game. I'm not going to kill him after this game. The offense for the Vikings looked terrible, no doubt. And J.J. McCarthy had 3 fumbles, lost 1, 2 interceptions. His offensive line was god-awful basically all night. I think both offensive lines were terrible, the Falcons line and the Vikings line. The difference was Michael Penix held onto the ball when he got sacked and he didn't throw interceptions. That was really the difference in this game. Also, the Falcons, I just want to put in perspective for you guys. The first touchdown of the game came with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Now, I did not write that down. I just straight up remember that because I watched this whole game thinking to myself, bro, is anybody going to score a touchdown? And it happened with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Falcons were in the red zone like 5 fucking times, and they kept settling for field goals. The Falcons have to figure that out because you can be a way better team when you take 6, not 3, or 7, not 3. You have to figure out how to punch that in. You got B. John Robinson. You got Algier. Drake London had a fumble in this game that if I'm Michael Penix would have pissed me the fuck off. But aside from that, you got Kyle Pitts who need to figure out how to become a red zone. The Falcons, you cannot be in the red zone that much and walk away with 1 touchdown. You just can't. You can't. You can't. Now, shout out to the Falcons defense. They looked phenomenal. Now, they were playing against a rookie, but nonetheless, I'm not going to kill J.J. McCarthy. He was bound to have a game like this. He was bound to see a defense that did this type of thing to him. I just want to see how he responds to a game like this. That's all I want to see. How will he respond? Philadelphia, Kansas City. They definitely going to ban that tush push after this year. I don't think it's no question. After the Dan Blandino, I don't really agree with. I don't know if the NFL should be happy with him saying, "I'm done with the tush push, y'all. How you refereed and yada yada." I don't know if the NFL should be happy about a statement made like that. I expect for them to have a conversation with him. Like, nigga, keep your emotions under control when you on our broadcast. The fuck you think this is, nigga? You ain't on no podcast. But aside from that, the tush push is definitely getting banned. Now, I'm not one of them people who hates the tush push. I have absolutely no problem with the tush push, to be completely honest with you, because if the tush push didn't work, nobody would care about it. It's because it works and because a certain team has found out how to use it to its best ability, people bitching about it. The tush push is not why the Eagles won a Super Bowl. The Eagles have a hell of a fucking team. But I do understand how people could say, well, bro, if we got to defend the tush push and they can jump off sides or not jump off sides, they can get a head start basically and not have it called, then it's a problem. Listen, for one, because of so much complaining going on this week, you don't have to worry. Because I'm promising you the Eagles are going to start getting called for false starts on that shit. It's probably going to be excessive at this point just to make some of you fans happy. That's how it usually happens. 2, I can make an argument. Kansas City Chiefs was offsides on the play too. So they could get a head start in trying to stop it. Listen, The only way to fix the tush push at this point is to ban it, which I really don't like banning the move because it can't be stopped. And people saying, "Oh, it's not football. It's not football." I see multiple teams doing it. It's not illegal. So how is it not a football play? I find it very entertaining what white folks decide, because it's mostly the white dudes is doing it. But just in case you thanks are racist, I find it very interesting listening to what people call things that they cannot stop. It's kind of like when people see things that they don't understand. They call it weird, stupid, out of the ordinary, because they don't understand it. They've never seen it before. Yada yada yada. That's kind of what this is to me. Oh, we can't stop it, so it's not a football play. Cut a break. Cut me a break. The Chiefs have bigger problems than the tush push. The Chiefs' offense is ass. Hot ass. And I love Pat Mahomes. But if you expecting Pat Mahomes was your leading rusher for the second week in a row. So for the second week in a row, motherfucker had 66 rushing yards. 30 more than the next person. I don't know what the fuck happened to Isaiah Pacheco, but he is not the same player. We know, what's my man's name? The other running back, he an older running back now. He clearly not the same guy. The Chiefs need to figure out how to make a trade for Tyreek Hill. It's just plain and simple. I don't trust Xavier Worthy. I don't trust Rasheem Rice when he get back. Travis Kelce is clearly already mentally retired. He just out there doing cardio on a weekly basis. And sometimes hurting the team more than he helping it at this point. I think Travis Kelce. I think Pat Mahomes need another Pat Mahomes, basically. Not saying he need another Pat Mahomes. Saying he need another dude that's as locked in as him. Because I'm not seeing it right now. And I love Pat Mahomes. And I understand. And I'm one of the biggest Pat Mahomes can do anything type of niggas. But he just ain't got shit to work with right now. And if you expecting Pat Mahomes to go out there and do everybody's job on the offense every week, Pat is not making it to the end of the season. And that's going to piss me off if Pat don't make it to the end of the season. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just going to tell you right now. Because I already been one of the ones who done been irritated with what the Chiefs have given him to work with over the last couple years. Nothing. Because they basically saying, oh, he Pat Mahomes. He'll figure it out. And now you starting 0-2 because your offense is just horrid. It's a tough reality. But now we get into my squad. The Baltimore Ravens. They talk a lot of shit this week. The Browns, that is. To go out there and get their asses beat in like this. Talked a lot of shit to get you at. Shout out to the defense. Not really. The Ravens defense is not getting a shout out from me. I just wanted to be facetious for a moment. Yes, they played a better game, but it was still a lot of goofy shit that happened in this game. Until the Ravens defense put together weeks of perfect or great defensive football, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm also annoyed with Raven fans because they keep trying to blame John Harbaugh, but every problem that they bring up is the problems of somebody else. Even Terrell Suggs said it. What the fuck is John Harbaugh supposed to do when players are making player mistakes? I'm seeing players go out there and make dumbass mistakes and niggas turn around saying, John Harbaugh. Like, what? It just don't make sense to me, bro. I really don't understand it. You could have a far worse coach than John. I don't even like saying far worse because John Harbaugh is not a bad coach. But you could have a bad head coach on the Ravens. I saw a nigga today on Twitter say he don't fuck with Lamar because Lamar keep defending John Harbaugh. What? Like, some of you niggas are just retarded. I saw a nigga today say, somebody had made a post, and I responded to his post and said, yo, you niggas do not know what y'all are watching on the field. Like, you niggas are watching these games and really just not watching them. The game is watching you because every time y'all niggas post something, it don't make sense. Like, what was the thing that happened earlier today in the game today? Marlon Humphreys had an interception go right in his hands. Somehow this nigga drops that interception and a Browns player catch it for a touchdown. Niggas blame that on John Harbaugh. What the fuck is John Harbaugh supposed to do about Marlon Humphreys not catching the fucking football? I saw niggas earlier in this game when the Ravens, it was taking them a long time to get things going. They couldn't really get nothing going. I saw niggas blaming Harbaugh for that. As if Todd Monken ain't the offensive coordinator. At one point in time in this game when the offense would not get going, John Harbaugh forced him to stay out there and go for it on 4th down. When the offense was about to walk back to the sideline and be content with a field goal. I saw a nigga on Twitter say, John Harbaugh costing his team. Nigga, they was about to go. The offensive players were moving off the field content with a field goal. John Harbaugh had to tell them niggas to go back on the field. I saw somebody say last week in that Bills game, John Harbaugh is at fault because he didn't go for it on that 4th down, even though Lamar said he was cramping. And we done seen John Harbaugh go for it multiple times on 4th down throughout this Lamar Jackson era. You know what fans do when he don't make it? They blame him. So when John Harbaugh trusts his defense, which was a mistake in itself because you shouldn't have trusted defense, which John Harbaugh is seemingly... See, this is the thing niggas don't understand. John Harbaugh cannot treat his team the way we talk about the team. I hate the defense, aside from Cal. John Harbaugh can't act like that because he still got to coach these niggas and hope he can coach them up to go out there and be great on Sundays. He can't have the attitude that I have. He can't keep bringing up the past and being pissed off about it like I do because he's a head coach who have to get these dudes ready to compete on Sundays. I think some of you fans are mentally challenged. We'll talk more about Baltimore later because the show is going longer than expected. We'll talk about Baltimore more on Monday Night Football. With that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Not Kicking It with Saint. I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of the recap on Saints World. I appreciate you greatly. Listen, you could be anything in this world, so choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and until next time, I fuck with you. I love you. Saint out.
I'm ready for whatever right now.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.